Our next speaker is an American computer scientist, cryptographer, and inventor. He is widely known as a pioneer in cryptography and privacy-preserving, that is difficult to say, privacy-preserving technologies. He's also considered to be the inventor of digital cash. He's joining us remotely today. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to David Lee Chaum.
It's great to be here with you all. Can you see my slides, I hope?
We see your face, but we're looking forward to the slides.
I clicked on the share screen and...
Oh, something's coming. Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Nice. Okay, well, so yeah, by the way, I'll try to stick with the time, but I want to just point out that I was in Berlin when the wall fell, and before that, I was in East Germany when it was still East Germany, and that made a big impression on me. But as promised in the abstract, what I'd like to talk about here is Web 3.0. This is generally regarded as something that's going to happen. It's going to be how people are going to be using computers in the future, and there's a lot of discussion about it. I hope I can give you some deep insight into why it necessarily will probably unfold in a certain way. And we could trace the origin of that back to my early days in grad school at Berkeley, where I realized that cryptography was the only way that people could control information about themselves, control the use of it by other people and organizations, government, and so on. And that's why I solved what's the fundamental problem in controlling your own information at that time, and it's been widely referenced. It's what we call a solution to the traffic analysis problem. It's been renamed metadata somewhat more recently, but that's kind of a not very specific term. So it's essentially finding out who talks to whom and when and from where and at exactly what times, and so it allows the whole social graph to be traced. And so when I realized that cryptography was the key to allowing people to protect information about themselves, and that would be the central problem with the advance of computing. Remember, this was in the very early 80s, late 70s, before the web or anything, right? This was something that I realized quite far in advance. I knew this would be a fundamental issue, and I focused on it for the last 40 some odd years. And one of the things that happened was in Science Magazine, it was reported that the National Security Agency was threatening people who would have conferences on cryptography. They had the idea that anything done with secret codes should be born classified, like with nuclear weapons and nuclear materials and so on. And so being a graduate student at Berkeley, I decided to secretly organize a conference on cryptography and found an international association to sponsor research in cryptography, public research, which I did, and that basically stopped the NSA's plans to suppress public research in cryptography. I sort of set cryptography free, and the reason was because I knew how fundamental it was going to be for people in the upcoming information age. So let me try to show you this video here. I hope it will play. Explain. So I hope everyone could hear that video, and that basically shows the underlying way that you can send messages with privacy. And later, I showed that you could sort of do everything else that you might need to do in the informational world by using the underlying messaging privacy to send money and what I call credentials. And so this was an article that also appeared in Spectrum der Wissenschaft around the same time, showing how all these, the full set of issues could be solved using cryptography. But recently, finally, the public is really becoming extremely aware of this due to a lot of unfortunate recent events like Cambridge Analytica and just general use. So now it's pretty clear that 75, 80% of the public feels that the biggest problem with information technology, the web, internet, whatever you want to call it, Web 2, is lack of control of information about themselves, privacy, however you want to describe it. And that's both international studies by IBM, 10,000 people they surveyed, and more recent ones, and it's overwhelmingly clear. So these are listed as the top 3 issues to most consumers. So if we want to move to Web 3.0, then what we need is something to bring, make it attractive to consumers, is to solve this privacy issue and to give them control over their own information. So a project that I founded has launched some months ago a quantum-resistant privacy-protecting messenger that's just as easy to use as any other messenger and full-featured. It has more secure ways you can set up contacts in standard ways, and you can send voice and so forth. As you can see, we have group chat, and et cetera. So, surprisingly, all of those other messengers out there haven't risen to the challenge and provided quantum resistance of the end-to-end encryption like we do, even though that's what they've always been talking about, while ignoring the real problem, which is the metadata, the traffic analysis, the who talks to whom and when, which in all other messengers is collectible, easily collected by the operators or others who tap links. So it's really a profound upgrade, our Elixir messenger. But what I'm here to show you now, and that's available in the app stores, is that we have just 10 days ago announced a Super DApp project. So in other words, like WeChat in China, it's basically what I said we would do several years ago when we launched the project. There's a bunch of mini apps that you can see. These are the ones you've installed. This is the one that's featured today. It's like an app store. These are categories that you can scroll across and choose. You can also search the most popular and so forth and install them. Unlike WeChat, these are real apps that are downloaded from the App Store, but through deep links. So you can interface to them within the Elixir system as if they were a part of it. And we have detailed about 20 different ones, and we have there's a foundation that's offering grants to help people, to pay people to build them, and they're really easy to build now, it turns out, because if you can build an app on a smartphone platform, then you can build these really easily. We've got sample code and so on. So just to give you a sense of how this privacy platform extends out to really enrich the privacy offering here. You could do like a private search, Wikipedia or a search engine or what have you, and those, no one would know what you're searching for. Everything goes through the metadata shredding protocol. Or you could do what's called shielded help. Like if you need help in the United States, this reproductive health advice is becoming a big issue where there's many other types. And it turns out that, people don't want to reveal that they're doing this because they might get a lot of ads about it, and other people might find out, and they need really good advice and FAQs and so on. So we set up like a whole system for this, and we have an actual version of this is running that we built ourselves to make it easier. But we also have like things like pirate radio, so you can send out an audio podcast, and no one can find out who's actually sending it. And we also have like channels, which are large number of users that can receive messages. And so, furthermore, by popular demand, we have a way that you can interface whatever wallet you're running on your smartphone to the cryptocurrency of your choice, but benefiting from the privacy of XX. So that protects your metadata, makes your cryptocurrency transactions anonymous. So let me just try to give you a more high-level overview of these. So here's someone named Austin. They're using, the first thing they would want to use in Web3, something that returns privacy to them. So first thing they do is they talk to their friends and family using the Elixir Messenger. Then they maybe let's just say they need some shielded help, for instance. So that can interface out to various, organizations that provide the help, services, and help chats. So some of those are based on the real world, and so the privacy shielding is important. Similarly, you can make the cryptocurrency transactions, as I mentioned, with other counterparties who are also in your XX Messenger world, so you don't have to spend a lot of time checking their keys and so on, as some of you may know, test messages and all that. Then you can also interface to legacy, current applications, in which many people, of course, have invested a lot of context and effort and so on. So you can kind of interface to them with some anonymity, sort of keep an eye on what's going on there, or also post. And then we have a whole range of things that are only for the users of XX. So these are like social media and other things that are designed to enhance social cohesion. In other words, to counteract the kind of fragmentation that's been caused by social media and other multi-user Web 2 apps that sort of incite people to quarrel with each other and so forth. So these are like we have the social media for other XX users. We have ways to do irrefutable polling, and that's the Vote XX technology, which is like just recently been introduced through our project, and it allows people to vote without any possibility that votes can be bought or that they could be coerced, but to be able to do that online. There's no other way to do that works, and that's essential to allow democracy to blossom in this new world that we're living in. And then we also have gaming, and some of that could involve actual location-based gaming. So of course all of these are protected by these little clouds are showing here. This is all protected communication, metadata shredded through the XX network. And so this is our vision for how this platform, just first through the messenger, which is easy to use and full-featured, stable on all the platforms. Then it can be spread out through these mini apps, which is an open platform. Anyone can build them, or they can build other mini apps, and the foundation hopefully will still back whatever proposals are received. And then through this, we can really create a kind of Web3 that people actually want. So thank you for your attention. I hope you have a great event.